Hello, mindful friends. Today we're talking about the power of and importance of honesty. So last week we were on the session of mindful communication class that talked about sharing our truth and what it looks like to understand our truth, uncover our truth, and then share it with others. And the difference between our truth and opinions and beliefs and ideas. So that the truth that's really our truth is that deep, true honesty with self. And that the only way we can get to that kind of honesty is looking inward and spending time with what's really going on with us. The experience that we are having, what we are seeing in the world, what we are hearing, how we're interpreting it, what it brings up for us in our feelings, our emotions, our reactions, how we show up in the world. And looking at that helps us to understand what it is we're actually experiencing. And then that experience, our personal experience, not projecting it on to everybody or the whole world or the whole situation, but our experience, that's our truth and that's our honesty. What happens so often is that we're not honest with one main reason of we don't know what's really going on inside ourselves. It's hard for us to be honest with ourselves. It goes back to the talk I did on unwilling to feel, what we're unwilling to experience or admit to self of, well, I don't want to feel that, so I turn away, or I don't want to admit that, or I have this feeling and that doesn't belong, so that can't be it. And so we go around trying to cover up or hide from the things that are our experience. And then it creates this dishonesty within, which then spreads that out around us. And I was listening to a talk by Tara Brach, and she had a stat of that many of us are lied to at least 200 times a day. So it has just become our culture to receive and output dishonesty. And where does that start? It starts at home with self, when we're dishonest with self. And you think about it in the culture of how is that portrayed? Of one, all kinds of lies in marketing of what something is going to do for you or offer you, or lies in social media of we only see one side of the truth of people who haven't looked inside themselves, don't really know what's going on, but put a picture out or an image out of what they want people to see. Or at work, there's exaggerations or stats people want to hide. So all kinds of little, maybe white lies or lie by not telling or not revealing all. But we're kind of surrounded by it. And what this does is create this culture within ourselves and around us where we can no longer really understand what's going on. We don't know what's going on within ourselves because we refuse to look. We refuse to be honest and be with what we're actually feeling. We don't really know what's going on in the world around us because we don't know if the images we're being fed are real or exaggerations or false truths, false news, whatever it is. And it creates this whole kind of universe of falsity where we don't know how to be well in it because we don't really understand what's going on and what we need. So the power of honesty is that you really get to the depth of what's actually happening. And you start with you. You know, we can't control, well, you can, based on how much you engage with these sources of information or these outlets where it is kind of based on not whole truths, of kind of limit your time there. But mostly, we help that honesty come forth within ourselves. How honest are you being with yourself? And oftentimes, you know, I hear the expression, fake it till you make it. Or like, you know, people say, well, I can't express my real state of being out in the world. You know, someone asks you, are you okay? How many times do we say yes? Or they ask, how are you doing today? We say, great, I'm good, when that's not really the case. So it doesn't have to start like in those situations where it's just norm to not say, right? You don't have to start there, but start at least within yourself, that you don't have to lie to yourself. That when somebody asks you, how are you today? And you say good, inside you know you've looked and you understand what's really going on. And you spend time being able to do this. Right? It's in your practices, in your self-care, in your meditations, and you know, all those times when you can turn inward, and we need those so that we can be honest with self. How are you really doing? And this is what we're doing in like our everyday practice. I start with it pretty much every session if we do. It's just looking inward and reconnecting with your body, your mind, your emotions, your heart, your spirit. What's there today in an honest way? You're not looking to change it, to judge it, to make it better. You don't have to fake anything. You really are curious. What's going on here today? And just looking is enough, just observing. Because this tells us a lot about what we really need. Is if we're unwilling to look and notice, then we can't understand what we really need. And that fake it till you make it, you can plaster a smile on your face all you want and tell all those lies about how great it was, how excellent everything is, how work is fine, how my relationship is great, how my friendships are perfect, and oh, it's lovely, which if it is, great. But faking it till you make it doesn't change that internal reality that we have. And in fact, can sometimes make it kind of fester and build below. Because while you're faking it over here, everything that was still building those hard feelings, those difficult emotions within you, is still present because you've been kind of lying from it and not looking at it. It's still there. You haven't done anything to change the circumstance. Whereas if you're honest and you say, well, this was hard, my body today hurts, then you can look at it. It's not being judged, it's being understood. When we say, honestly, this is what, this felt like, this situation brought this up for me, and it pointed to this need. And here, that's the teaching, again, of Thich Nhat Hanh. The way out is in. The way out of your suffering is to actually be honest about it, to look at it, to recognize it, and then to use that awareness to shift, to make changes, to bring new into your life that's going to support you and honor those needs. And you can't get there and understand it unless you're honest with self. So yes, we know there's a lot of dishonesty in the world around us. But if we all just start focusing on how can I bring this home and just for myself, be honest with myself. So this week, I invite you to just observe How many times in the day are we being dishonest with others or ourselves, where we plaster on a smile when really there's pain or fear or anxiety? And how is that affecting your well-being? And does it help you to get to the root cause of that and heal it? So just observing, how many times am I not fully honest with self? And see if you can spend time listening, observing, and knowing your honest truth. If you enjoy these little talks and would like to join us for a group session or individual coaching, you can visit us at newleafmindfulness.com. I also just published the audio version of my book, Living from the Heart. There's all these teachings and more within it, so you can get that anywhere you get your audiobook content. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.